Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday. It is the 20th of January, 2026. Thank you for coming in this morning and being with us as we warm up slowly but surely. I'm Valerie Vining. He's Richard Dixon. Steve West with us. Phil Carter back in the traffic center. And all of you this morning, thank you for being with us. Talk 99.5, talk995.com. Let's give it to you. The weather forecast real quick. Sunny skies today. Once that sun comes up, it is a little cold this morning. 43 is the daytime high. Wednesday, cloudy with a 20% chance of rain and a high of 54. And then Thursday, some rain really comes in, 60% chance of showers, high of 55. And a little bit of winter weather that we'll dive into because some of the models are setting up that we could see some winter mix in North Alabama.
A wintry mix.
We could see it in central Alabama.
Yes, indeed.
And even a little south of the Birmingham metro area.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So, again, it's Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
This is a probably late Friday into Saturday morning event that it begins.
Oh, I thought it was Saturday to Sunday.
And then
right?
Saturday,
Okay, yeah.
and then you got Sunday. But
Okay.
Friday is when the setup begins, where
Yeah.
you're going to begin to get some moisture in the northwest corner of the state, and then it starts to come into our area. So models are showing that there could be a little something there and maybe some
Sure.
problems, but a little early to tell just yet.
Much of it comes down to how low is the temperature going to be at night. I woke up this morning, got in the truck, it was 26, all right? But the high on Saturday right now is 38, and the high on Sunday is 35.
Yeah.
So if the ground never really freezes up, never really gets, that kind of hardcore cold, you're going to have a lot of wetness that, maybe it'll get sloppy. It'll get like the ice pellet thing that then is mixed with water, and it's a pain, but it's not dangerous. Unfortunately, if the ground really does get cold, then we'll be looking at, and bridges and overpasses always, because you got no, lengthy ground there. You got air above, air below, and it could feasibly freeze on bridges and overpasses. But right now, like I say, we're 5 days out. It's difficult to make a call
This
5
far
days
out.
out on anything.
Yeah.
So,
And again, we've seen it's even difficult the morning of. If you remember the ice storm years
Yes.
ago,
yeah.
they were, there wasn't a real concern about that ice freezing. And and again, it's very difficult to forecast. Our friends over at ABC 3340 looking at some of what James Spann is saying this morning. Temperatures will be in the 50s tomorrow through Friday. He says that's a positive because if it's 50 degrees, it's harder and harder for that ground to really freeze.
Yeah.
But with that said, the temperatures are going to change over the weekend, and depending upon how much we get and how it falls and what it is, it could cause a problem or it may not. So just bear with us over these next few days as we try to, keep up with what meteorologist and what James Spann is saying at 3340.
If we learned anything from that ice storm,
Just be prepared.
well,
That's what I learned. Be
here's
prepared for anything.
Here's the main thing. The main thing that happened during that ice storm that people don't want to talk about, which is everybody left at once. The city is not designed for everybody who has a car to be on the road at the same time. That's really what boxed up the roadways.
Yeah.
Is that it was just too much traffic. Everyone was like, at noon, I'm leaving. And so everybody got in their cars, and then the interstate got just absolutely blocked up and barricaded, and that was the end of that. And it really had less to do with the weather than it had to do with the amount of wheels on the ground all at once,
Yeah.
If we could keep that from happening, that would be
one
a
of the
really good plan.
One of the positives is this is not during the work week, so people won't be in the office when this begins to come down for the most part.
I'm afraid about
Not
Friday.
everybody.
My fear is Friday,
Yeah.
that people are going to be like, get out of here, 2 o'clock, run, everybody. And it's like, there you go.
Well-
And the last thing you want is to be trapped in your car on a Friday night into Saturday.
Yeah, you don't need any of
You
that.
certainly
in your
don't
life.
want the kids still in school,
Yeah.
stuck in schools on Fridays.
Well,
So
and
let's-
that was the problem
yeah.
the last ice storm is that
Yeah.
parents that were in offices said, "Oh my God, I got to go get my kids." So you think about every parent that had a kid in school anywhere in central Alabama, they were all hauling butt.
Yep.
Many of them didn't make it to the school.
No,
I
they
know the River Chase Elementary, which I used to live fairly close to, no one could get in. If you
Right.
didn't get in just before it started coming down, those kids spent the weekend at the elementary school.
Yep.
And that's the case. So that being said, if you don't have the necessities, and I'm talking, a way to stay warm if you lose heat or power, some of those things, there's nothing wrong with prepping, and today would be a very good day
Today be a
without
good
rain
day?
in the forecast.
Today, tomorrow, both
Today
good
and tomorrow,
days. Yeah.
very good days.
Mhm.
Get it done. Go
Yeah.
get what you need, and I'm not talking food, bread, all that kind of stuff. I mean,
Oh, I
hopefully
am.
you've got plenty of stuff in your
I'm buying
pantry.
bread and milk. I'm going to get lots of each.
I think it's still too early for that too.
Nope,
So don't
never too
panic,
early.
but just the normal supplies you would need for winter. If
Mhm.
you haven't done that yet, do it today or tomorrow. Just
Absolutely.
get what you need in
Um,
case, and then maybe if nothing happens, oh great, now you've got it for next year or later in this season.
I had an interesting situation on the way into work. My flat tire little signal came on
Oh
in the
no,
vehicle.
the tires are just low because of the cold.
Well, it was flashing. I'd never seen it flash before. Suddenly
Oh.
I get this boop, alert. Oh, flat tire alert, the tire, low tire, whatever. And it's flashing. I'm like, I've never seen it flash before. That's a new one on me. And so this is an amazing technology nowadays. I click the little buttons twice to get to the car diagnostic dealio,
Hmm.
and it tells me the air pressure in each one of the tires.
Yeah.
Left front 38, right front 37, left rear 36, right rear nothing.
Zero.
Yeah, zero. It's a flat. It's a little
Oh,
red flat line, and
no.
I'm driving. I'm like, doesn't feel right. I can feel that there's a tire back there, and I can feel that it's still full of air.
Is
Like,
it maybe the sensor's broken?
that
That's
was my
very
thought,
possible
yeah.
because I've been
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
through. I've had in the past, not quite year. I've had to replace all 4 of mine.
Mm.
Oh man.
This was my thought
Well,
process.
I
That
think
was
it's better, maybe at least for the immediate time. It's
Yeah.
probably, oh, thank God, it's just the sensor.
Right.
But
Yeah.
now
We'll
you're
get it taken
thinking
care
we got to
of.
get it fixed.
Get it taken care of. Sure enough, I get here and I walk around and I'm like, nope. I kick the tire. It's like that thing is loaded with air. No problems
Yeah,
there.
sensor.
But who knows? I mean, once the weather warms up, the sensor may be like, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah, it might.
It just maybe doesn't.
But it's
handle
very
cold
unnerving
weather
when you
well.
see that because you're thinking, oh, jeez.
Well, I had a sneaking suspicion it wasn't going to go from like 38 to nothing in no time
Yeah.
flat. That would be a blowout.
Not without you feeling something.
Yeah, there'd be a blowout if that
Mhm.
was the case. So I was like, yeah, this
Well,
is not making
I told
sense
you
to
that
me.
happened to me in the mountains. I hadn't, I parked the car.
Yeah.
We had somebody else that we were with had a truck, so we were buzzing around in the truck and whatnot. And then I go to pack up the car and leave. I'm in the car, Lucy in the car, ready to go down the mountain from the house. And it's telling me I have a flat tire. And I really did have a flat tire.
Mm.
It was a big old bolt or nail that got in the tire.
Always
and
nice.
barely made it down the hill and found a place a couple of miles away, driving like, please make it. Please.
Come on, car.
Anyways,
You
yeah.
can do it.
Yeah, those tire sensors, they do go out though.
Yeah.
So.
I've never had a problem with them in the past, but this is, of course, a vehicle that I've only had for a little over a year now.
Yeah.
I bought it a year ago, November, I guess. Very, very happy with the truck. Especially after trading back in the Maytag box on wheels that I was driving over the weekend.
Yeah, how was that? You kind
Oh,
of get into that plush truck of yours, and
man.
the heat's working great.
I
and-
tell you get back in that truck. It's got the little running board that folds out for you. It's like, would you like to get into the truck, sir? Yes, I would, Jeeves. Thank you very much. You step up and you're in, and life is good. And yeah, heats right up. Boom, you're good to go. I was like, oh, I've missed you, baby.
Mhm.
I missed you so much. I'll never take you for
Yep.
granted again. I'm so sorry. I love you. 614 with Dixon Dividing on Talk 99.5. Your garage door can give up sometimes in the cold weather, your garage, unless it is one of those very nice insulated ones, your garage is most likely going to be not far off the temperature outside. And consequently, your garage door opener is dealing with, to some degree, the elements. When it rains outside, generally there's moisture in the garage. When it's cold outside, generally it's cold in the garage. So sometimes the garage door gives up on you. Sometimes the garage door itself needs to be replaced. All of these things can be done with Pro Lift Garage Doors, 286-9727, 286-9727. They can do emergency service for you if necessary. Come out like at the drop of a hat, take care of you. They got all the stuff on the truck for a standard job. And then, boom, bang, you're back in business. It's just that simple. The price is right. The service is fantastic. You don't have to get emergency service if you don't want to. Simply ask them for just regular service, and they'll take great care of you. That is what they do at ProLift Garage Doors. When your garage door lets you down, get an uplifting experience with ProLift Doors. 286-9727, ProLiftDoors.com. 619 Dixon Inviting Talk 99.5, talk995.com. Happy Trump-iversary. 1 year ago today, Donald Trump took office for the second time. Only the second president in the U.S. history to serve 2 non-sequential terms. This worked out perfectly. This is the guy who got us the World Cup, and then he gets to actually be in office while it's happening. How much fun is that?
That's a sweet deal.
How much fun is that? And, I'm not sure, but I think some of the games are going to take place in our newest state, Greenland. So,
Greenland, really?
That. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They got some indoor arenas there.
No, they play it outside.
They play outside.
Yeah, they play outside on the ice and snow.
Yeah.
It toughens you up. It's very nice.
They've got some ski suits to wear during that tournament.
It's all about the cleats. Right?
The cleats. Huh?
Yes. When the snow comes or the ice comes, a lot of times this happens in trees. What happens is the rain comes down, and because you've got cold air up there hovering around the branches, it sort of collects on the branches. And so you get this big sort of ice shell that forms on the branch, bringing more weight to it and causing it to crack and fall off the tree. And then it lands across your driveway or on your neighbor's house or on your house or on your power lines, all the places you don't want it to go. So before that happens, you might want to get Alabama Tree Pros out to take a good long look at your tree and see if maybe they could take that limb off, trim it up a little bit, get things where it needs to be, maybe take the whole tree down if that's what's called for. They do it all the time at Alabama Tree Pros, 308-4158. These guys are faster, they are better, they are safe, they are experts, they're very, very good at what they do, and maybe most importantly, less expensive. Less expensive. What's not to love about that? Better service, lower price. AlabamaTreePros.com to find out more. AlabamaTreePros.com or call them today, 308-4158, and get a very low estimate with all that stuff, the licensing, the bonding, the insuring, all stapled to the back of it to show you they are a legit company that really knows their business. Alabama Tree Pros. Call them today.
And now, it's Dixon and Vining's top 3 things you need to know.
Well, due to the protesters and agitators in Minneapolis who are doing their dead level best to keep ICE agents from doing their jobs, who are actually doing one heck of a job talking about the ICE agents, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem announced yesterday that federal authorities working in that city have arrested more than, get this, 10,000 criminal illegal aliens.
What?
10,000.
What?
We talked about all the fraud that they have found in Minneapolis, and Noem said it's totaling at least $19 billion. Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor, Jacob Frey, are a complete and total failure when it comes to the state and to the city. 3,000 arrests were made in just the last 6 weeks. 70 people have been arrested between early 2022 and early 2024 in connection with a suspected $250 million scheme involving federally funded nutrition programs. The fraud is centered on the Minnesota nonprofit Feeding Our Future.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like the fraud is absolutely running rampant in that city.
Yep.
And you're going to tell me that Tim Walz and that the mayor, Jacob Frey, doesn't know anything about this?
Yeah.
I would say there's no way. Between the daycares, there's an automotive business that a lot of these people did as well, Somalians specifically, where vehicles sat. They didn't really have an automotive business. They just bought several vans and they just sat in one spot, pretending like they were renting them out and they had this automotive business.
Right.
So you got the child daycare, you've got that, and now, the Feeding Our Future program, which we've been talking about as well. What else is it that they're doing in Minnesota that is fraudulent?
Hopefully,
I think there's more to this.
If there's more, hopefully it will be uncovered. These investigations are continuing, despite what's happening on the ground there, that somehow, I guess, Tim Walz and Jacob Frey think that they can, somehow make people forget about this by having riots in the streets. The reality of the situation, and maybe the other end of this that I was thinking of is that after they do get arrested or after they get charged, they're going to be like, well, this is just retaliation because they don't like what we did with ICE. No, this started several years ago, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this investigation has been going on for a long time, and you guys have been, I guess, gilding the lily and lining pockets of all kinds. Either you were complicit or you were looking the other way, or you're really incompetent. Those are your 3 choices,
and
none of them
all
are
of
good.
them bad,
Yeah.
right? Every single one of those
None
is terrible.
of them are good.
And you want to. I'm sure they're going to say, "Well, we didn't know anything about it," because certainly if you know something about it, you may be going to the hooscow.
Yeah.
So to say. All right, a 19-year-old male. This was a really sad story that we learned about yesterday. Shot and killed Sunday night in the parking lot of the Amazon Fulfillment Center in Bessemer. Witnesses reported hearing multiple gunshots around 10:40 p.m. on Powder Plant Road. Tyler Neal Alexander of Birmingham was found and pronounced dead just after 11 p.m. At least 10 evidence markers could be seen in the parking lot. Alexander was an Amazon employee. No suspects so far have been taken into custody related to this shooting. Probably cameras all over the outside of the Amazon building, I would think. And hopefully they have a make and model of car, maybe even a car tag, maybe even more than that. Maybe they've got a witness description after looking at the video. But certainly I know this family wants there to be justice for their 19-year-old son who was shot and killed. It's just horrific.
We need some answers. I'm interested to know what took place there if this guy got off work at 11 o'clock and walked out the door and got gunned down by somebody driving by, or if this was an altercation that took place in the parking lot because some sort of exchange was supposed to be taking place. And I don't mean it necessarily has to be drugs. There was a kid who got shot in a parking garage. I want to say it was the Galleria parking garage. It may have been UAB, because he showed up to buy a set of earbuds that were being advertised on Facebook Marketplace. And it turns out there were no earbuds. It was just somebody who was going to try to rob him and did, in fact, and shot him, all because he showed up to buy some earbuds from Facebook Marketplace. You're like, you look at all those ads a little askance now, right?
Absolutely, you do. And again, we don't know, was this 19-year-old in with the wrong crowd, and maybe there's some retaliatory action. That's why he got shot. Don't know if it's even just random.
Yep.
Have no idea. But they'll, Bessemer and Birmingham will investigate this a little further, and hopefully they'll get some answers to it. Finally, we've got to mention it because it was just so huge. Congratulations to Indiana, national champs, defeating Miami last night, 27-21. Very close back and forth game. The first half, you were thinking Indiana's probably got this, and then Miami comes fighting back. This is the first. They finished the season 16-0. Think about that. How hard that is in college football to accomplish that goal, and the first national championship for Indiana. 40. This is what I did last night. I don't know where you all were with it. Halftime, I said, I'm going to bed. This game isn't what I thought it was going to be. And as I was trying to go to sleep, which I didn't, I said, I'm not able to sleep. I'm just going to get up. So there were a little over 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I got up, turned on the TV in the living room. That's when Mendoza did that stretch out and made that touchdown. It was 4th and 5, and he made the touchdown. And from then I was like, oh, my gosh, this is a great game. So I stayed up to the end of it.
The fourth quarter was really the money there.
That was it.
Miami managing to battle back from a pretty good deficit. They seemed to be playing from behind all night, and then it looked like they were within shot of this thing.
They almost had it. They almost did it.
Could have made it happen there. I was like, oh, you're going to give Miami the ball back with 1 minute and 47 seconds left?
Yes, a lot of time.
What are you doing?
There's plenty of time.
Carson Beck is like lights out right now, guys. You are in serious trouble. And then that interception ended up saving the day for Indiana.
That's what did it.
Worked
absolutely
out well.
Amazing.
Carson Beck just looked absolutely crestfallen at that point. He's like, oh, we're going to lose, and it's my fault.
A couple of things that we've learned through this process and talking with Molly, and we'll talk with her a little further about it, is the age of some of the Indiana players. You're like, what? The fact that that Beck was playing as quarterback, graduated from Georgia, and hadn't gone to a single class in the time that he'd been at the University of Miami, and he admitted that. It's like, well, what's up with that? Wait a minute, you're enrolled at the University of Miami. You're not taking a single class, but you're playing football. Maybe we need to take a little look at that.
We might need
There's
to.
some things here that are just, I don't know. I have a hard time with that. Be enrolled as a student, take your classes. I don't care if you graduated from Georgia. Go on and get your master's or something.
Sure,
just do something.
You should be working on something.
Something.
Yeah.
But you didn't go to a single class, but yet you played football the entire season.
That's a little weird.
Yeah, that was odd.
A little weird.
But man, I really am glad to see Indiana win this. That was a great game.
First 16-win FBS champion ever. That is amazing.
That is
truly
amazing. It's a
astounding to have
Cinderella
won
story.
every one of them. And they did a little bit of a recap, and I forgot how close some of those earlier games was. I mean, Indiana just pulled it out over Penn State. Wasn't really that, and the first time they played the Ducks, they won, but it was a close thing there for quite a while.
Yeah.
So it was really toward the end that they began to dominate. And last night,
Yeah,
Miami gave them everything they could handle. Man,
Ooh.
it was a really great game. Good to see.
Mendoza got really beat up too.
And yeah,
Beat up bad.
Miami can hold their heads high
Yep.
though. One of my top 3 favorite country artists, male category, Clint Black. Love his stuff. Don't know why. Can't explain why. He just jumps off the CD at me. CD, Sam Old. You can tell. He just jumps
Just
off
that
the
handsome guy.
yeah.
He's so handsome.
The handsomeness doesn't have anything to do with it. It's
I
the
do.
music. that
I
love.
like the handsomeness.
All
of
right.
it.
Well, you're fine.
That's what
with
Lisa Hartman
It just,
thinks.
right. Thank you.
it. He's got a handsome wife.
I saw a picture of them just the other. I think it was yesterday or the day before when they were
Yeah.
very young.
Mm.
They looked like late 20s, early 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Good looking couple.
They have any children?
No, I didn't see any kids in the picture. It was just the two of them.
Okay. Well, I'm
Yeah.
wondering if they did have any children at all. Like they could have a couple of absolutely beautiful kids,
Mm-hmm.
given how attractive. Well, not anymore. I saw Clint Black recently, and
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
We all get older. We all can't be beautiful.
yeah, but
Like
you know,
Richard.
he really went down a bad road there.
Well,
Yeah. You know, his face kind of looks a little bit like a leather suitcase now.
does it?
Yeah.
I haven't seen him
He
recently.
lost a lot of weight.
I think I'd rather just have the image in my mind. So
All
let's
right.
just leave it
You
there.
hold on to that.
Thank you.
And I'll hold on to
It was
Lisa
Ke-
Hartman
Ke-
Black.
Kenny Rogers when he was
Ooh.
younger in his heyday. God, what a handsome guy. What did you do? Oh my gosh. All of a sudden, that next photo, you're like, Kenny, what happened? I need Kenny back. Where'd he go? Why did you do that?
What's the story, Steve?
They do, by the way, have a daughter. She
No
was
wonder.
born in 2001.
2001. So she's 24. I'm going to look her up. What?
You're not.
We're on YouTube now. Well, not right now because Steve hasn't pushed a button, but we will be. YouTube.com.
Now we are. Good
Real
morning.
Talk 995 TV. Check us out over there when you get the opportunity.
Bye.
Why don't you? And check out the Legends Boat Show continuing for another weekend at the Talladega International Motorsports Hall of Fame.
It sure is.
Yeah.
It's going to be this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you don't want to miss this, folks. Sea-Doos, Can-Ams, ATVs, and, of course, all the pontoon boats, things like Starcraft and Silver Wave pontoons with the Suzuki Power from Rodney's Marine, but so many boats and so many watercrafts to check out. You don't want to miss it. Admission is free. Parking is free. And, again, they're extending this, the Legends Boat Show. International Motorsports Hall of Fame at Talladega. Go check out the boats. Get you a boat. Spring will be here, and you can forget about any winter weather.
Special pricing for this on 25s, 26s. They may even have a used boat or two out there. Rodney's Marine going to have the good stuff for you. Of course, the accessories. Talk to Rodney, talk to Kimberly, talk to anybody and everybody from Rodney's Marine. And if you don't make it there, well, then they're right there on Highway 231 in Cropwell with the Silver Wave and the Starcraft pontoons and tri-toons and all the accessories you need for boating. They deliver to every lake in the area. And that in-house financing can help a lot, too. That is Rodney's Marine, rodneysmarine.com to find out more. So Minnesota has decided that they are going to sue the federal government to try to get them to stop enforcing federal law in Minnesota. Hey, make them stop enforcing immigration law, Judge. The judge refused to issue a temporary injunction, right, against ICE in Minnesota. And they'll be giving their lengthier arguments a little later, probably this week or early next week. And, you know, there's no precedent for this whatsoever.
No, not at all.
Zero precedent.
And it just sounds silly.
Yeah.
I mean, when you just say they're going to sue the government because they don't want them to enforce
Yeah.
immigration laws, you just want to go away. What do you mean you're going to sue them?
Well, DA Keith Ellison was asked about it by a reporter who said, how do you handle the fact that there's no precedent for this whatsoever? Like, there is no real legal justification for persuading the federal government not to enforce their laws in your state or in your city. And he said, well, but this is really bad. Oh, you're going with the it's really bad argument. Okay. I'm sure the judge will listen to that.
Yeah, he'll be all over that.
That should go well.
No, what he wants you to do is show a prior case where somebody has sued and won the case. And there's no such thing. It doesn't exist.
Well, this idea that somehow it's a federal invasion, it's not. Again, if Minnesota did what they were supposed to do, which is actually honored the ICE detainers. So ICE sends over and says, hey, you got this guy. He's a bad guy. You arrested him for, let's say, DUI. We're going to come pick him up, and handle him at the federal level and send him back to the country that he came from. And Minnesota goes, oh, like hell you will. Let's get him out of here. Get him out of here. Let him go. Quick, run him through the DUI thing and then just out on the street with you. They don't even hold on to him. They'd rather have a dangerous drunken driver on their streets than hand him over to ICE. Now, if they just actually honored these detainers, these guys would all be, ICE wouldn't have to go into neighborhoods. They wouldn't have to go anywhere. They'd just go to the jails, and they'd be like, all right, everybody into the paddy wagon, let's go. And then they would drive them off to where they're going to drive them to and put them through the federal process and then put them on planes and send them back home. It'd be that simple. That's what happens in Texas. That's what happens in Oklahoma. That's what happens in
Tennessee,
Alabama.
yeah.
That's what happens in Tennessee and Georgia, any place where they actually agree with and go along with this. And there are even a couple of blue states where they do that, where they're just like, yeah, we don't want illegal immigrants here either. New Mexico, you're not getting a fight out of them.
I would like for the folks in Minnesota to explain to me why.
Yeah.
What is it that you want illegal immigrants, criminal illegal immigrants, left in your city and in your state? Explain to me how that benefits you and the citizens of that state.
Now, they will argue with you, as someone did with Scott Jennings on CNN last night, that it's no longer illegal immigrants. They're targeting natural-born American citizens.
That's a lie.
No, they're not.
That is such a lie. They're not doing that.
600,000 deported people, 600,000 people that they've rounded up in the last year, 170 were American citizens. Mistakes were made. The majority of them, it was actually, I think it was like 220, and they figured out real fast with about 50 of them, oh, yeah, sorry.
And they let
get
them
out of the car, go.
Right.
And the other ones, once they were able to verify, well within 24 hours, yes, I'm an American citizen, they were set free. Nobody who's an American citizen has been detained for more than 24 hours, most of them far less than 24 hours. Of course there's going to be mistakes, but it literally is 0.05% at this point. 0.05%, which is better than the error rate for federal funds going to Somalian daycare centers, which is about 100%.
Yeah,
at this
it's
point.
nearly 100%.
Now, here's the other thing I find interesting is a Biden-appointed judge issued a ruling on how ICE should handle Minnesota protesters. The judge ruled that Minneapolis area immigration operations cannot detain or tear gas peaceful protesters, but did not define what a peaceful protester was. So if somebody is standing off
They're
to the
blocking,
side,
yeah.
well, forget about blocking.
Okay, you're saying on the sidewalk with a sign.
If someone's standing on the sidewalk with a sign, I agree. You
You
can't tear
should-
gas that
yeah.
person. You can't detain that
Well,
person.
they're not doing anything.
What if they're blowing a whistle and they're trying to warn?
Does that impede
Yeah.
ICE agents from being able to do their job?
If you're warning the illegal immigrants that they're going to get that, hey, ICE is here and they're coming for you, I think you've crossed the line. You're no longer a peaceful protester. At that point, you are actively engaged in trying to warn the people that ICE is trying to get. So now it becomes a question, well,
Well, then-
what qualifies as peaceful?
Yeah, that's a very good
Because,
question.
yes, if you're blocking the road, that's not a
That's
peaceful
not,
protest.
no.
That's obstruction, that's interference, et cetera.
And would
et cetera, et
blowing a
cetera.
whistle be considered obstruction? Would screaming as loud as you possibly could, here
Yeah.
comes ICE,
Yeah,
be an obstruction
yeah.
of what ICE is doing?
And by the way, now the DOJ is investigating Jacob Frey and Tim Walz for obstruction of ICE agents, obstruction of a federal government agency in their attempt to prosecute the law as it is written.
yeah, based on what they have told
Yes.
citizens of that state and
And
city.
they specifically use the word obstruct. So
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic. That's interesting that they're not like interfering with or whatever. They're actively stopping us from doing this. Okay. Well, let's see how that goes. There's a lot of lawsuits. The one from Minnesota that suggests that federal government agencies should not be in their state conducting business is insane, and that's going to get thrown out pretty quickly. If it doesn't, certainly on appeal. And if it doesn't there, then it's good that it's happening, though, because it does sort of set the precedent for other states. And it's also good that, we forget how namby-pamby so many Republican presidents and presidential contenders have been in the past. I thought George W. Bush did an admirable job as president. He got us through 9/11, and he helped create a really great economy. By 2005, we were blowing and going on all cylinders. And then, of course, we had the housing collapse in 2008, late 2007, early 2008 that caused problems. But overall, I thought he was a solid, good president. He would have already pulled ICE out of Minnesota. He would have, I mean, this is a guy who he fired his head of FEMA because of, a lot of people who are complaining about it. It was like, Brown didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything wrong at all. He did exactly what he was supposed to do, but because there was a big public outcry blaming him for something that wasn't his fault, Bush fired him. It's like, yeah, see, we had so many Casper milquetoast presidents from the Republican Party in the past. George H.W. Bush was every bit as bad. Ronald Reagan was better.
Well, let's just hope that Donald Trump has set a new precedent and that any Republican president going forward says, being a bold president and doing some of the things that Donald Trump is doing works pretty well.
Not only is he not pulling ICE out, he added another 1,000 agents.
Yeah,
he was just like, let's
1,500, I think it was.
Well, no, that's 1,500
Oh,
troops
that's
that are in Alaska right now.
Right.
But little by little, he threw another 1,000 ICE agents into Minnesota
Keep
to say,
sending them.
Yeah,
Keep sending them.
Guys,
and get this straightened out.
The more you do this, the worse it's going to get. So keep it up. Keep it up. Enjoy yourselves. 646 with Dixon and Vining, Denson and Fuller, my insurance agents. Should be yours as well. Crescent Avenue in Homewood. Stop by there or call them, 414-1476. Find them online, densonandfuller.com. Great place to go to get more information. densonandfuller.com. They're local. They're independent. They work for you, not some big insurance company. They're going to shop around, get you the lowest premium and the absolute best service possible. That's who they are. Talk to CD, talk to Vicky, talk to Denson and Fuller at 414-1476, online at densonandfuller.com.
6:51, Dixon and Vining at Talk 99.5, talk995.com. Got a bit of a problem out there on Highway 280 right there in front of Grandview
Yep.
Medical Center. It is all the way backed up past Valleydale Road.
Oof.
Yeah, and headed toward 119. So you guys be careful out there and just know that you might need to find an alternate route into town. Again, that's 280 inbound, westbound toward Birmingham. A wreck in front of Grandview, and it's causing some problems this morning.
Sunny and 43 for a high today. Tomorrow we're looking at mid-50s, same thing. Really, on Thursday, rain, by the way, coming into the forecast both of those days. And then Friday, once again, looking at 50. So it's good that the highs are going to be in the 50s.
Yes.
Because then the temperature plummets at night. We have rain that could essentially lead to freezing rain. You know, I don't want to get anybody's panties in a bunch here.
Not yet.
Because, you know, we don't really know. And we try not to freak people out about stuff we don't know about. But, you know, on the better safe than sorry side of things, I'm going to stop and get some dog food today, you know?
Yeah,
'cause
if
I'm-
you're running low on that, that's
Yeah.
a good idea.
Yeah, just make sure you got some of whatever it is you need.
Yep.
So you don't have to get out in it if it does turn bad. If you need the milk, if you need the bread, yeah, okay.
Well, and, you know, things like you think for a minute, ice storm, if ice accumulates on power lines,
Mhm.
which is just the worst of the worst.
Hate
That,
it when
you
that
know,
happens.
we're just, if you're thinking way ahead down the road for this weekend,
Mhm.
and that happens and you tend to lose power, okay, what are your plans? What's the game plan for the
Freeze.
fam?
My plan is to
What's your
freeze.
plan for the fam this weekend in your house? Now, maybe you've got a couple of sources of heat and you're in good shape, no problem there. But if you don't, you know, think about what it is that you'll do to try to stay warm
Mhm.
in the event that you do lose power. And again, we're days from this. They're just saying this is the model set up for today.
Mhm.
This is what we're looking at. Tomorrow could be a little different. Might not be as bad as we look at tomorrow.
Yep.
Could be worse. We don't know. But, you know, again, 5 days out, we got a ways to go. But it's just something to think about. And today's weather is going to be beautiful to prep if you can.
Absolutely. Greg says black tape, Richard, black tape over that pesky light and let it ride.
Just
That
ignore
does
it.
work, yes.
You do that. Just put this, you know, your thumb in front. No, I'm
Little-
not seeing you.
Little piece of electric tape. We'll snip that off, cover it
Uh-huh.
right up there.
No problem.
Like it never happened.
Just
I
ignore
love
it.
that.
See nothing here.
Craig talking about the Somalians in Minnesota. They're also doing the non-emergency ambulance services like taking old people to the doctor. There's an overwhelming number of those companies like the daycares with no ambulances in, no patients, just a bunch of money coming in. Yeah.
See, they have. It's not just a daycare thing. They started with the daycare and said, how can we expand this? How deep does this rabbit hole really go? How many other businesses are out there where they go, well, we can scan the U.S. government again for some more money?
The question becomes, why is the federal government handing out so much money to people with supposedly profitable businesses?
And we're not checking on those
Yeah,
businesses.
Right. I mean,
We're just like, oh, you have a
it's just-
business
yeah.
license. Let's give you this money.
It's weird to me that if you're running a daycare, you shouldn't need government money to keep it going. Like, that's an odd thing. Why do we even have programs that are like, oh, here, let me give you $1 million for having a daycare? What?
Well, again, I think this has really opened the eyes. And thank goodness that Donald Trump is in office because he's already got people in place that are investigating all of this. And not just in Minnesota. It's like, let's look across the country how many billions of dollars that the federal government has handed out that is our taxpayer money that's all fraudulent. I mean, the number is probably staggering to us once we get a handle on who else is doing this, California and Illinois
Sure.
and some of these other states. So, you know, as we dig,
Lots of money.
it's going to be sickening to see how much money was really doled out.
George Sanders talking about the number of arrests of illegal criminal immigrants in Minnesota. He says 10,000. So that's 1 day's worth of Biden's illegal immigrant border policy. Yes, George, it's also a good start. I mean, you know,
Got to start somewhere.
we can poo-poo this and be like, oh, it's just 10,000. Okay, well, there's 10,000 we don't have to worry about.
Absolutely.
That's a positive. You got to do something.
Well, and you
Yeah.
think about the number, and I think it was several million, they said, illegal immigrants that crossed the border during the Biden administration that self-deported. They said, we're
Yeah.
out, goodbye.
Yeah.
So you've got that number. You've got the number in Minneapolis, and this is happening in other cities. We just talked the other day about what was going on in Memphis, some of the crime there and some of the things that were going on. It's happening all over the place. So, slowly but surely, it's going to take What Biden did in the 4 years
Yeah.
with that southern border open is going to take quite some time to try to fix and get a handle on, and it won't all be done. But
No question.
they'll make a pretty big dent in it. So
Yeah.
just give it time.
Picture this, if you will, George. You know those little round cylinders full of BBs? Open one up, turn it over, and dump them on the floor. That happened real fast, didn't it? Boy, they all just came right out and went everywhere. Now, pick them up.
Pick them up.
See how long it takes
And you
to pick
can't
them up.
use a vacuum cleaner.
no.
Pick them up by hand.
That's right. Pick up each one by hand and make sure you get them all. Put them all back in there.
Trust me,
Yeah.
I've had that happen at the house. Little man and his Red Ryder. I was like,
Mhm.
oh no, the BBs are all over the garage floor.
Gives you kind of idea of what it is we're dealing with here. But you can't not pick up the BBs. You got to pick them up.
Yep.
Speaking of illegal immigrants, Mamdani is asking Donald Trump to reverse the travel ban for the World Cup.
Mm.
You know, there's a travel ban from a whole bunch of places, and he says, wait a minute, we want to change that. Talking about Africa Cup of Nations final between Morocco and Senegal. Mamdani hosted a watch party for the match at Manhattan's Surrogates Court. But he's saying, look, you know, there's a whole bunch of countries where people want to be coming in here because of the World Cup, and we should definitely lift the travel ban
Well, how
from
about this?
Afghanistan, Burkina
Do you have
Faso,
do you have a
Chad, the
ticket to
Republic
any
of
of the
Niger.
games? That's
Yeah.
what I want to know. Do you
Exactly.
have? Is your intent to really go to the soccer matches? And if so, maybe we need to make sure that you really that's what you're doing and that you're going to exit once the games are over.
I'll go a step further than that. If you're a well-funded terrorist organization, buying a ticket to one of the games as a ruse to get into the country
Yeah.
to set off a dirty bomb or something is a small investment.
Sure,
You
it
know,
is.
you're like, oh, this is how I'm going to get in.
Right.
I'll claim I'm going to the World Cup games in the United States. No, the travel ban stays in place. There's a travel ban for a reason. We're putting it there because these countries are the ones from which we get most of the bad people. Venezuela, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Mauritania, Malawi, the Ivory Coast, Senegal, Tanzania, Tonga, Gambia, Gabon, Dominica, Cuba,
But Richard,
Burundi.
this is where all the soccer players come from.
Benin.
What do you mean? Their families need to
Barbuda.
come watch the games,
Uh-huh.
the matches.
There's a TV. You can watch it on TV. They probably put one there in Town Square in the city that you're from.
Mamdani
Mm-hmm.
is already asking Donald
Mhm.
Trump for a favor.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't take very
It's
long.
gonna be a big no.
That'll be a huge
Or
no.
maybe nope. I don't think
Not
so.
happening.
It's not like, well, we're putting a travel ban in place because we don't like terrorists, except for the World Cup. We'll go ahead and lift it for that. No,
Let them all in, right?
No.
They can come through the
not-
southern. Tell them that, hey, how about Mamdani? You go on down to the southern border
go.
and vet them through the southern border. How about
Give it
that?
your best shot.